James. I'm Garrett.
I'm Cadence.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Jack.
I'm Josie.
And today we're going to be talking about Impossible Fast Casual Dining Establishment, or Impossible Dining, which aims to provide an all plant-based menu all over the world. And today we're going to be getting into who we are as a company, as Impossible Foods, how we came up with this idea and what it really is, the research we've conducted behind it, how we plan on establishing it, and what that prototype will look like.
And what Possible is we are a plant-based meat company with a focus in sustainability. And our mission statement is to reduce humanity's impact, or destructive impact, by creating meat out of plants. And our vision statement is to completely replace animals in the global food system by the year 2035. And to start off with idea generation, we'll be talking about brainstorm. And what we were thinking is the restaurant will be a very fun dining experience and just very immersive and things like that. And it will have a dine-in option or a drive-thru option. And the food is very eco-friendly and just very good.
Alright, next we're going to look at the user analysis or user research. This is a really important part for our restaurant because it allows us to identify our target audience, which is going to be flexitarians, vegans, and vegetarians. Flexitarians are important to us because they are meat eaters who are looking to be more plant-based, but they're open to be. And then vegans and vegetarians are also important to us because their fast food market is still relatively small. So with our plant-based restaurant, we're going to be able to provide a more accessible and convenient food option for all three groups. And then we also found that when customers are going to a fast casual dining experience, they're looking for three main factors, that being taste, convenience, accessibility, and price. For taste, even for people who want to be more sustainable with our plant-based products, they don't want to buy it if it doesn't taste good. So that's why our menu is going to feature similar items from other restaurants while using our Impossible products, which closely replicate real meat. And that'll hopefully give her some of that hesitation that they have with trying those new products. Next, for convenience and accessibility. Convenience, when you go to a fast casual place, you expect good service, easy ordering, quality food. And then with the accessibility part, most plant-based products are really only found in grocery stores or they're limited menu items on certain restaurants. But with our restaurants, it's entirely plant-based. We're going to be trying to break down some of those barriers between the consumer and the actual plant-based food. And then for price, again, people, they're interested in plant-based foods, but we do have a higher price point, which makes it more difficult for them to want to come buy our products. So at our restaurant, we're going to be trying to stay competitive by offering value meals, rewards programs, and we're going to try to keep prices similar to actual typical meat-eating restaurants. And now we're going to look at competitor analysis. We looked at restaurants, for example, Culver's, and we found that their customers are expecting quality, consistency, and good atmosphere. And we want to take those expectations and build off of it with our entirely plant-based menu to kind of diversify ourselves and create a unique experience. And then we also found that there's a gap in the current market. With typical fast casual restaurants, it's hard for vegetarians to want to go there because a lot of them have meat on their menus, so they don't want to go eat there. And also, for vegetarian restaurants, they're very niche, and people who want to try those plant-based foods, they don't really want to go there because there's not left of other products. So we want to bring in all those people that feel left out of our restaurant with our familiar products. And then we can also use our restaurant as well as a sales channel and a marketing tool. And so stepping away from those retail mixed stores, we can sell our products directly to the consumers and provide a better, comfortable experience and kind of control the environment a little more. And then we can also test new products. We can get customer feedback in person, and we can improve our product and push them out to the retail store.
Alright, and to determine if this product would be successful in the market, we had to do some pretty extensive research. To start off, I would like to read a quote from the former Impossible Foods CEO, Peter McGinnis. Our goal is not to compete with fruits, vegetables, and other whole foods, but to offer meat eaters products that are better for them and the planet. So this directly defines our target market, which is meat eaters and flexitarians, as well as vegans and vegetarians. We're going to try to offer them healthy and sustainable fast food alternatives instead of trying to offer them a different plant-based food like a salad. We're also going to take a look at this chart. We're going to focus mainly only on the chicken and beef section today because that's what's most popular in the fast casual dining industry. We already have a portion of the market in the food at home section where consumers are buying our prepackaged food at retail stores and cooking it at home. And we've dipped our toes a little bit into the food away from home market with our collaborations with from Burger King and Starbucks and several other dining establishments. So we would like to open this fast casual restaurant to take a larger chunk of this food away from home market. Of course, we had to do a SWOT analysis to see if this would be successful. We already have strong brand recognition, so when people drive by this establishment and they see the big Impossible sign at the front of the building, they're going to be intrigued and they're going to be more willing to try it as opposed to seeing some new brand that they aren't aware of. We've also already collaborated with some fast food restaurants, so we have an idea of what this industry entails. And we also have a first mover advantage, being the first chain restaurant that offers only plant-based meats. Our weaknesses, of course, we do have a higher price point. I did some research and I averaged out the burger price of the Culver's menu and the McDonald's menu. As you can see, McDonald's was a little lower, so they're going to get a little bit of a larger portion of that market. We plan on matching the experience and the price point of Culver's and keeping it competitive in that area. We also are going to be struggling a little bit with production scaling as a weakness, because if we're opening these restaurants, we're going to need to produce more plant-based meat, and that's going to cost more money. Some opportunities: we have a growing market. The sustainability trends and the need and want for the consumer-based want for plant-based meat is growing year by year. And we also have options to geographically expand. If this prototype doesn't exactly work in the US, we could expand to places like Sweden and India, where plant-based meat and veganism is a little bit more popular. And we also want to implement eco-friendly practices with this restaurant, keeping with our sustainability messaging. So that could mean reusable dishware when people are dining in, or compostable or recyclable packaging when people go through the drive-thru. We also have some threats. We are obviously entering a very competitive market with a lot of established brands already, and we are going to face consumer apprehension inevitably when it comes to plant-based food, because some people just aren't willing to try it. Finally, we're going to move into some current marketing trends that we can use to market this product and service. So social media and user-generated content are going to be our best friends here. They are the most popular right now. In terms of social media, we're going to use short-form video content, promotional images, and partnerships with influencers, and utilize different social media apps that are popular, like TikTok or Instagram. And in terms of user-generated content, first and foremost, we need to provide a good service so that people leave good reviews, and then more people read those and want to come to our establishment. We want to give them easy review avenues. This could mean just simply leaving a space on our website that is easily accessible. We also theorized about having a QR code on the receipts and having a promotion where people fill out the review, and then they are offered some sort of free product when they come back the second time. We also want to market to a younger audience because they are more willing to try new things as opposed to an older audience.
Planning is a huge part when you are creating a new product, as it can really be the make or break for that product. Having good planning can have yourself set goals for the future, and bad planning can just create miscommunication. To start off, it's important to look at strategic planning and to have a vision when you are planning. A vision is really important because it basically allows you to know where you want to be in the future, as we talked about our marketing plan before. And within vision, we can make short-term goals, which are really just the stepping stones within, whether it's a daily goal or a weekly goal that we have within each chain. And then as we have short-term goals, we also have to have long-term goals, which is more the 5 or 10 year plan that we can look at down the road. We set ourselves goals and we have something to achieve, and once we achieve that, we'll set ourselves new goals. Design is a huge part. Since we are a physical building, it's a product, it's important to look at the design. As we talked about before, we are going to be utilizing old buildings and repurposing them into our own restaurant. This kind of goes along with our sustainability vibes. And it's important to look at the material for that, because renovating old buildings can be very, very expensive. So if we budget in the right cost for each building, that is really important to look at. Location is also important, as we would like to target areas that will have potentially more buyers. The layout is also important. Since we're utilizing old buildings, not every single building is going to be the exact same. Whereas a lot of current fast food basically copy and paste their building all over the place. We're going to have to keep the outside different, but we're going to try to keep the same familiar vibe on the inside. Property is also a big part. When you guys think of McDonald's, you really think about a food company, right? You're going there to buy food. But believe it or not, 60% of McDonald's assets are actually within the real estate. This is really important in the fast food industry because we can use that to grow and expand in the future. So it's important to keep an eye out for.
Awesome. So now that we talked about that, let's talk about our marketing mix and what exactly we're gonna focus on when we're presenting this opportunity or this idea out to our consumers. And so first, we want to focus on our price. We want to keep it low, competitive, and consistent. We want consumers not to have too much commitment when they walk in through our doors and sit down and have a good meal that we are going to provide for them, as this idea of eating a plant-based burger might seem pretty foreign to a lot of consumers out there. So we want to just keep the prices low so there's not too much commitment for them when they're first trying it, and there's not much thought for them to come back because they know they're going to get a quality meal at a low price. We also want to focus on what we're replacing these restaurants, and so we at Impossible Foods realize targeting flexitarians, while that's a great that's a great thing that we're striving for, it's not always lucrative. And so we want to focus on the vegetarian and vegan heavy cities, just so that we have a consistent income starting in the beginning and maybe carrying throughout the rest of this industry, while hoping to bring in flexitarians as we grow this market. And finally, we want to have partners. So we want to partner with local bakeries and farms to install a sense of pride in our consumers that they're helping out the small local businesses around them. And we also want to get celebrities who endorse the plant-based, healthy lifestyle living to help influence flexitarians and vegans and vegetarians to come and enjoy a good meal at our establishment.
Alright, and now we can finally start talking about prototyping. Now, since this is a pretty complex and large business model, we've separated it into two different prototypes, starting with a recipe prototype. Now, this is a bit of an easier task to handle because Impossible Foods already offers a bunch of recipes on their website, including the Impossible Beef Classic Grilled Burger. This would be a good option for us because it has minimal ingredients and a pretty low cooking time. And we want to consider things like, of course, the signature Impossible Burger Patty. This specific one takes only about 2 minutes to cook on each side, so it's pretty quick. Also, our veggies from local farmers, we want to make sure they're not going to wilt, that they taste good. And our buns from local bakeries, making sure they don't get stale too fast, that they hold up well. And of course, we also want to consider FDA regulated ingredients, and also consider state and local food safety laws. And of course, we want to then have people try the burger, so we can do this through some street markets, in malls, food festivals, to kind of get it out there and see what people think. And moving on to our restaurant prototype, this is a bit trickier because obviously it would not be financially sound or sustainable to make a full-size prototype of a restaurant. So what we can do is we can find a space that we want to renovate. Here is an example of an exterior and interior. And what we can do is make a digital rendering. So here's an example of how we can do that. Now, we've included the signature white and red colors as well as the bold Impossible Foods font. Our interior includes some industrial features as well as furniture and appliances inspired by old 50 diners to kind of match with Impossible Foods' Americana aesthetic. We've also included some greenery on the exterior and interior to represent the sustainable aspects. And so once we have our digital renderings, we can then also make a smaller scale model to have a more tangible example of our prototype, and finally we can showcase this to a focus group in order to gather some feedback, and there we can make some modifications on our prototype to better make our business. And that is it. Thank you for listening, and we'll now open the floor to questions.